This is Porthcurno Beach in Cornwall. On this breathtaking beach, we are almost at the southwestern tip of England.
It may not look like it today, but this beach has always been popular with visitors, and tourist numbers have increased over the past few years because it is one of the many locations used in the hugely successful British TV series Poldark.
Poldark is a period drama set in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. It follows the fortunes of the determined Cornish landowner, tin miner and farmer Ross Poldark and his charming and courageous wife, Demelza.
The series was watched by as many as 5 million people in the UK and many millions more around the world, and the Poldark effect has had a striking impact on tourism numbers in Cornwall.
But for Porthcurno Beach, and indeed for other Poldark locations, there are both pros and cons. Whilst visitors may rave about the beach on social media, there are some local people who are less keen on the sudden influx of tourists. Porthcurno Beach is owned and managed by the National Trust, an independent charity which preserves beautiful houses, coastlines, and other areas of outstanding natural beauty.
I think Porthcurno and the rest of Cornwall really was the star of Poldark. People got a chance to see Cornwall's enchanting landscapes on screen, and were really captured by it and wanted to see it for themselves. Obviously, Cornwall as a whole is really dependent on tourism, with approximately £2 billion coming into the Cornish economy from tourism directly and much more indirectly.
This money brings in much needed revenue for an area like Cornwall, where older local industries like mining, farming and fishing can no longer provide enough employment. Other locations in the county were also central to the Poldark series and are very popular with visitors in the summer, like these former tin mines on the coast at Batalic and, further east, the wild and windswept Bodmin Moor. But the most filmed location in Cornwall is the picturesque coastal town of Charlestown, a principal location for the Poldark story. Charlestown has a population of only 500 people, but each year 500,000 people visit the town. So, can this huge visitor influx be put down to the Poldark effect?
I think it's the harbour itself, the beauty of it, the way it's been preserved over its 200 years of operation. That's what attracts people here. I think there are people that do come down and realise this is where Poldark was filmed, or this is where one of their favourite celebrities has been filmed before. As an area and as Cornwall as a whole, as a filming location, it's positive. It does bring people down here, whether it's into the museum or not. It does bring people to Cornwall. It encourages the tourism trade. In Charlestown, the eateries, the restaurants, I think they are probably benefiting the most out of the footfall.
Around 4.5 million people visit Cornwall each year. When the weather is good, this figure rises by 20%. And this can mean huge numbers of people on the roads, putting the local infrastructure under pressure. Not to mention the overcrowded beaches. While those in the tourist industry see only positives in the summer boom in visitor numbers, some local residents take a slightly different view.
I wouldn't choose to live anywhere else. On a beautiful day, standing on a cliff top, overlooking a white sand beach with the waves crashing down below, there is no greater place. But, like anything, you choose to live somewhere beautiful, you've got to put up with the downfalls to that. And in Cornwall's case, that means the swell in population and the associated pressures of that. Cornwall is a very rural county and its roads are very, very narrow. It is a can be very, very difficult to get around, even in the wintertime. And of course, tourists come with caravans, big camper vans, big cars, and aren't used to the narrow roads. So for the local people, if I wanted to go to the beach for the morning, in the summertime, I have to think very seriously whether I can actually be bothered, because it will take me double the amount of time.
But Cornwall isn't the only place in the UK to be affected by an increased number of visitors as a result of a film or television series, a phenomenon known as screen tourism.
Nowhere is this phenomenon more pronounced than in Northern Ireland. For nearly 10 years, the province has been the base and one of the principal locations for the blockbuster US TV series Game of Thrones. The main studios are here in the Titanic Quarter in Belfast, and there are numerous other locations elsewhere in the province, including Winterfell, which is Castle Ward in County Down, and this, perhaps the most famous of them all, the location of the Dark Hedges in Armoy, County Antrim. Due to political troubles and violence in the past, Northern Ireland wasn't a traditional tourist destination like Cornwall. But since the Troubles ended, tourism has increased, and peace has allowed for more inward investment, like the building of TV studios. Since the series began, the Northern Irish government estimates that Game of Thrones has brought in £65 million from visitors to the province. Useful money, especially as the same government contributed £9 million to the building of the studios. The local tourist board estimates that 350,000 visitors come to Northern Ireland every year, solely as a result of the TV series. And a brief survey of visitors seems to confirm the Game of Thrones effect.
We are Game of Thrones fans.
Yes.
We've seen some of the Game of Thrones art in the city, around the city.
We saw the studios.
Thought that was very cool. We saw Titanic Studios where it was produced. Thought that was very cool. And we've looked into doing one of the Game of Thrones tours that we think goes around to see Winterfell and some of the other places that we would know where our favorite characters are from.
The increase in tourism has been good for local businesses too. Established Coffee started in 2013, and its owner, Bridgeen Barber, is grateful for the Game of Thrones effect, which brought the cast of the series into her cafe.
Oh, I think it's been great for the city, for the country. Sometimes it's hard to believe how big it's actually been, and I think it's incredible. We've just come out of a conflict after a long time, and to see our city and thrive the way it is now and see new opportunities, I think, from lots of different areas. I think it's just been incredible. How could you not win with something like this coming to such a small place?
Screen tourism is felt all over the UK. The TV series Outlander has had a similar effect to Game of Thrones in parts of Scotland. Downton Abbey, a TV series and a film, has made the actual house, Highclere Castle in Hampshire, a magnet for visitors. In Cornwall, it is slightly different. The county was always a popular place for visitors, and the Poldark effect has only increased the numbers.
But of course, the upside of living in a place that attracts so many visitors is that you're living all year round in a fabulously beautiful place.
Here, at Porthcurno, and at other stunning beaches around the county, you can see why visitors can't stay away.